Now, from the station on your side, this is WAVY News 10.
A Monday mess after a weekend many of us will never forget. Hurricane Matthew's long gone, but the memories linger.
People across the area are picking up and unfortunately will be doing so for days, weeks, and for some, months to come. What a massive cleanup effort this is turning into for millions of people, including here in Hampton Roads.
From trees and power lines down everywhere to streets still flooded today, and there's a lot to do. Here are the headlines as we look at video today from Chopper 10. 2 people are confirmed dead in Hampton Roads, one in Hampton, the other in a crash on 64 in Chesapeake Sunday morning. 8 were killed during Matthew in North Carolina.
The curfew in Dare County has been lifted, and there are some closings tomorrow. They're on the bottom of your screen. More than 70,000 people remain without power. Some folks still can't leave their neighborhood unless it's by boat, and flood warnings remain up for parts of our area.
We have team coverage of Matthew's aftermath. 2 reports tonight from some of the hardest hit areas.
10 on your side's Aaron Kelly is in Virginia Beach, and Brandy Cummings has you covered in Chesapeake. First, back to the view, though, that you can only get from Chopper 10, and a look at what Matthew left behind in Virginia Beach. The damage and power outages are bad enough, right?
But the city is also warning people that they're to watch your water use because the system is still in recovery mode tonight. 10 on your side's Aaron Kelly has been in Virginia Beach surveying the damage all day. Aaron.
And we have covered a lot of storms, but this damage almost looks like a tornado came through when you look around at the debris. A tree fell down and hit this home and kept going, and it hit this one. And tonight, members of the community have been helping out. They've been salvaging what they can from this home.
We were sleeping, and we were actually thinking about going to a shelter, but we just said, okay, let's just stay here. I was soundly asleep, but I just woke up in an instant.
You might have too if you heard the tree that crashed through Mercedes Nogales' home Saturday night with 5 people inside.
I can't even describe it. It's like a really loud noise, and it just shook everything like an earthquake.
The same tree crushed the neighbor's home, too. No one was hurt. So on Monday, as Nogales looked at the damage around the bed where her daughter and mother normally sleep, but didn't that particular night, she remembered all she had left.
I'm so glad we're alive. I'm so glad they didn't my daughter was not hurt.
Despite their loss, the family has had the help of First Hispanic Baptist Church of Virginia Beach. Since the sun came up after the storm, they've jumped on top of the cleanup.
I'm doing okay, but like I said, I'm just thankful for all these people.
On another street, a massive fallen tree barricaded Shirley Butt in her home nearly 3 days.
And the tree started leaning, and I ran back in the house, and the tree fell. And when it did, it fell into the house next door, and it crushed my car. And it was a very loud popping sound, like an explosion when it hit the car.
When you look at the fact that this tree fell parallel to your house.
I'm so lucky. I'm very fortunate to be here.
And as far as we know, at the homes we visited today, no one was hurt. If you would like to learn more about how you can help out this family, we'll be putting that information for you on our website. For now, we're live in Virginia Beach. Aaron Kelly, 10 on your side.
All right, thank you, Aaron.
Next in our team coverage, we had the Chesapeake. Chopper 10 shows us the scene from there. Dozens of roads remain closed tonight due to flooding and fallen trees.
One of the hardest hit areas of the city still underwater tonight. The Culpeper Landing neighborhood in Deep Creek. 10 on your side's Brandy Cummings is there. Brandy?
Yeah, guys, we are actually standing on the curb. You can see just how high this water is. At some parts, though, of the neighborhood, the water is actually above the knee. But the high water here making residents pretty upset because one of them told me when they purchased homes here, they were told it should never flood. This is only one of the problems, though, that people in Chesapeake are dealing with. There are also thousands of folks without power and water also causing a problem in a cemetery. High water in one neighborhood, downed trees on a power line in another, even a casket in a church cemetery out of the ground. All of this left behind in Chesapeake now that Hurricane Matthew has come and gone.
We were told that the storm wasn't coming, and Matthew changed his mind and came anyway, so we're making the best of it.
It's been nearly 48 hours since Katie Moore and her family have had power. They're spending time getting to know their neighbors and doing all they can to survive.
The one neighbor cooked dinner for part of us yesterday. She has gas, so she was able to cook, and the rest of us just ate whatever we could. Peanut butter and jelly was good, and bananas and fruit and things like that.
Water covers the streets in the Culpeper Landing neighborhood. Residents are taking their chances, driving, biking, even walking through the high water.
I never thought that this would get this much water.
When we walked here, it was below all the houses, so it looks like it's just on the streets. More of an inconvenience than a true damage and problem.
We met neighbors Adam Wagler and Jacob Siegel on their way back home from the grocery store. City officials say the flooding here is made worse by the fact that the Dismal Swamp Canal, where the neighborhood normally drains, is 2 feet higher than normal elevation. But despite the challenges, residents are still grateful.
We're thankful that it wasn't, no one was hurt, no damage was done as far as homes and to people. So we're very thankful for that.
And tonight, the city of Chesapeake is asking residents to simply be patient as they work to try to clean up the city. Now, we are putting resources on our website, WAVY.com, on how residents here in the city of Chesapeake can contact the city for all non-emergencies. For now, live in Chesapeake, I'm Brandy Cummings, 10 on your side.
All right, to Norfolk now, where there are more than 100 trees down across the city. This is a neighborhood in Bayview. Within a half mile, 6 large trees knocked down by the storms here, 5 on top of houses. Crews began the extensive cleanup today, and one homeowner said he found a silver lining in the damage to his home.
We're extremely lucky, yeah. I'm blessed, of course, and our neighbors are being very nice about this. You know, we're able to park at our neighbor's lawn. Our neighbor over there is lending us tools and all that stuff. Everyone's really coming together.
Hey, it was the garage at Tony Lewis's home that was hit. City crews are asking for patience as they remove trees and clean up throughout the city.
Also in Norfolk, progress is being made on one of the underpasses filled to the top by water from Hurricane Matthew. This was on Virginia Beach Boulevard in the city. When the water was finally drained to a more reasonable level, the city found several vehicles in there. Needless to say, those cars probably a total loss.
Now to Portsmouth, where people living in the Swanson Homes area are mopping up today. They still have no power. Residents saw more than 2 feet of water inside their homes. We spoke with the interim executive director of the Portsmouth Housing and Redevelopment Authority. Their office is closed today for Columbus Day, but she says once electricity goes back on, they'll be bringing in vacuums to help people clean up water in their homes.
And in the Outer Banks, another major repair project for NC-12 after Matthew does some major damage once again. 10 on your side in Kitty Hawk, where overwash caused parts of the always vulnerable road to collapse. Officials there estimate that 125 yards of the road caved in. Many side roads are also flooded along the Outer Banks. It could be 3 weeks before 12 is repaired. They're hoping a sand replenishment plan for spring will make an extra buffer.
As we said just moments ago, tens of thousands are still waiting for the lights to come back on. Dominion now says everyone should have power back by 11 o'clock Thursday night, but most will be restored before then. As of this afternoon, more than 80% of people had their power back. Nearly 500,000 customers lost power over the weekend. About 72,000 are still in the dark in Hampton roads, 22,000 in northern North Carolina.
WAVY.com and especially our mobile app are your lifelines. If you don't have power, we'll keep you updated on the situation with getting the lights back on, as well as road closures and closings and delays. Plus, your pictures of the storm on the photo galleries page. And NBC Nightly News will have more on the damage from Matthew up and down the East Coast right after this newscast. The good news, the sun is out and helping to dry things out, but some rivers are still rising.
And that is what Chief Meteorologist Don Slater is tracking tonight. Don?
Yeah, the river's rising with all the water that we have, the rainwater especially, and of course the tidal water flowing up into the rivers. It hasn't been horrible as we look towards Southampton County, towards Seabrook, some of these areas, Cortland. We're not seeing huge flooding, but there is a little bit of standing water here and there. It's very, very minor, so I'm not real concerned about it. Even though there are flood warnings, it's really, really minor. The only major flooding going on is outside of our viewing area, and that is at Windsor, North Carolina, and that's where they've had that serious flooding going on. Now, for our area, as far as tidal flooding, we just had a high tide around 4:45, and it was only around 4.5, or around nuisance tidal flooding. The biggest thing going on during the overnight hours, temperatures overnight, they drop into the mid-40s into a few inland areas. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some very pleasant autumn weather to come and the fact that everything is gone. We'll tell you about it in just a few minutes.
Also ahead for you at 6, former college football star Marcus Vick is in trouble again. See the charges he now faces from a weekend incident.
Plus, cars left everywhere, people abandoning before their vehicles turn into death traps. But how much will it cost to get them back? Chris Horn investigates. And in sports, the new owner of the Admiral speaks for the first time.
Bruce has that and more as we continue on this Monday night.
From the station on your side, you're watching WAVY News 10 at 6.
We continue with a search for a killer in Hampton tonight.
Well, we first told you about this incident this morning. Police found the body of 70-year-old Donald Burrell shot to death inside his home on Somerville Drive near Buckrow Beach. They say he had been shot several times. So far, no information on a suspect.
And former Virginia Tech star quarterback Marcus Vick is in trouble again, charged with drug possession after police showed up at his home on Radius Way in Newport News. Someone called from the neighborhood with a complaint about drugs. When police got there, they say they smelled marijuana and found Vick at the house. 4 others were also detained. Vick was on probation from a previous arrest in April. No word on how that will be affected.
Next at 6, paying the price for getting to safety. What you need to know if you had to leave your car right where it was on the road during Matthew.
From the station on your side, you're watching WAVY News 10 at 6.
Another look at some of the damage around Hampton roads thanks to Chopper 10. There's so much to clean up for so many people. Fortunately, we have a stretch of good weather coming up. Don has a look at the forecast in just a couple of minutes, so stick with us for that. Now to a costly problem for many people who suddenly had to ditch their cars because of Hurricane Matthew. You've probably seen them randomly littering some local streets.
If they're now gone from where you left them, where do they go? And what's it going to cost to get them back? 10 of your side's Chris Horn is on your side with what you need to know.
Here on Monticello in Norfolk, this Jeep is the only one remaining. There were about half a dozen cars that were abandoned here by last night, but 5 of them are gone. Once they get towed, though, there are certain things you need to know about costs and insurance. If the last time you saw your car it was like this, or this, the next time you see it, it might well be in a place like this. When we get heavy rain, Norfolk City Tow Pound gets heavy traffic.
Extremely busy, extremely busy. We've, since yesterday morning to today now, we were 89 vehicles that we've brought in.
Here's one example of the cost of a tow. In Norfolk, you start with at least $135. If it's stored for more than a day, it's $30 a day storage. After 3 days, add another $75 to the towing tab. And when you get water like this, is it even worth saving?
Sometimes we're lucky and we're able to pull the actual spark plugs out and actually be able to spit out all the water that's in there.
The location of your air intake is important.
We're trying to check the air filter, see how much water could have possibly got in the motor to hydrolock it. At that time, we need to determine if the catastrophic damage has already happened at that time.
And water inside the interior could mean your car is trashed.
If your car does have standing water in it, don't even turn the key.
Because you could fry electronics, electric motors, or computer gear. Insurance? Check your policy.
If your car's been flooded out, it's pretty much a total loss. And if folks don't have insurance, it's just they had to take that on the chin.
So by this morning, the city had towed nearly 90 vehicles, most of them coming from around this area, Monticello, Ghent, the usual suspects when it comes to high water. But the director of operations for towing for the city says he may see some from Ocean View as well later in the week. In Norfolk, Chris Horn, 10 on your side.
Now, your Super Doppler 10 forecast with Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
Here's a look at what was going on between, you know what was going on between 5 o'clock Saturday afternoon into Sunday at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Of course, between around 5 o'clock and really after midnight, very, very heavy rainfall throughout the area, and it really set on up. We'll just go through this one more time, show you what went on with the whole storm. The storm was expected to be 120, 150 miles to the south of Cape Hatteras, but instead it moved almost directly over, just offshore of Cape Hatteras. You'll be able to see the center of the storm right about into here, or even a little bit closer as it moved on through. Well, we ended up with all kinds of flooding, quite obviously, and beach erosion, everything else going on with it, and huge amounts of rain to add to the tidal flooding. So it was a lot closer than expected, and it had a big impact on our area. You can see what also happened, and that was that a front set up right about into here on Saturday, right on in over the top of the Hampton Roads area, more of a southeasterly wind on one side of it with all kinds of tropical air, and a northerly wind on the other side of it. Well, that set in motion air coming together and rising and creating that big rain throughout the area, just line after line after line moving on through. Nicole is not going to bother us. It's going to stay way on out to sea, and there are the remnants of Matthew moving well on up into the Canadian Maritime provinces. Here's what's going on for us. You can see that stream of cloud cover in the past 24 hours. That was because of the wind that we've had, and we've still got a bit of a breeze near the shoreline, but I think our big thing overnight is going to be the temperature. Look how cool it gets. 44, 45, 48, and then into the upper 50s to around 60 degrees, a little bit near the coastline coming up during the overnight hours because of that breeze flowing off the warmer water. Here's where we are during the day tomorrow, and we're likely to see a little bit warmer. It'll be around 68, 70 degrees tomorrow evening at 7. Now on we go into Wednesday, 55, 63 degrees, 52 degrees, so a little warmer overnight. Stray shower, yeah, it could happen, but chances are it will not at all. Skies clear as can be, and you can just feel it. It's going to get chilly during the overnight hours. As far as any tidal flooding, further tidal flooding, you can see we're in the low 60s. As far as any further tidal flooding, overnight tonight at around 5 o'clock in the morning, there'll be some nuisance tidal flooding, but nothing too terribly big. And winds are still up a little bit near the coastline. And as far as gusts, they're not gusting much above about 15 miles an hour. Here's where things are right now. Temperatures 61, 63, 59 degrees, and a little bit wider view of things. I want to show you what our temperatures are going to do overnight, because I think that will affect us all more than about anything. And those without power who can't watch us, but let your neighbors know if they don't have power. It's going to be cool overnight. You can keep the windows open. 40s, though. In fact, you might even want to close the windows. It'll be too cool inland. And then 56, 57 near the coastline. And these winds 10 to 15, they'll be near the shoreline, a little bit gusty, but you can see again 46, 47 all the way on up to 52. Here's where things are for the peninsula. Definitely autumn chill in the air, 47 to around 50, 52 degrees. And the middle peninsula, northern neck, eastern shore, mid to upper 40s. And then we've got temperatures in the low 50s, a little bit nearer the water. Here's where we are for the south side tomorrow. A few afternoon clouds, that's about it, around 67 to 72 degrees. And for the peninsula, 68 to 73 degrees, a little bit lighter breeze coming up for the day tomorrow. So we're looking good after a chilly night. 68 degrees, 72, 74, 68 by Friday, and low to mid 70s on into the weekend.
Meet the new managing owner of the Norfolk Admirals. He was in town today, and hear what Coach Jay Gruden had to say about the Redskins' win over the Ravens yesterday. That's all coming up next on the Sports Wrap.
We're here to stabilize it, and so we plan on being here for the long term, solely focused on the Admirals.
These are the words of 27-year-old Ardone Weiner, the new owner of the Norfolk Admirals, who made his first official visit to Scope today. I'm Bruce Rader. The Norfolk Admirals have new owners, but as you have heard, they have no interest in moving the team. In fact, they say they specifically bought the team because they think Hampton Roads is a good hockey town. Ardone Weiner is the team's managing partner. His father and brothers bought the team last week from the Edmonton Oilers. Ardone told me that he and his family, who manage rental properties in New York City, have wanted to own a sports team for years, and they appear to bring fresh enthusiasm to the franchise.
We want to bring stability back to the team, so hopefully hearing it from the owner, and you know, this is our focus. This is the only team that we own that this is going to be a primary focus of ours. We're here. We want to stay. We want to be in Norfolk. We want you to come to our games. We want you to be here for a long time. Bring your kids to games, families to games. We're here. We want to stay.
And they want the fans to come. The Admirals open their season this Friday night at Scope against Kalamazoo. I'll have more with the team's new owner tonight at 10:45 on the Fox 43 Sports Wrap. Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Just ask the Redskins, who after losing their first 2 games, won their 3rd in a row yesterday on the road against the Baltimore Ravens. After giving up a touchdown on the game's opening drive, the Redskins defense came alive and kept Baltimore out of the end zone the rest of the game. Jamison Crowder's 85-yard punt return here was one of Washington's only 2 touchdowns, but even an ugly win is a win.
It's big time. You know, one on the road at the Giants and one on the road here. 2 great accomplishments. You know, we didn't start out fast like we always want to, but you guys stay on task, and we just keep grinding and keep working. And that's a good thing about this football team is they're going to come to work come Tuesday, rain or shine, win or loss, and they're going to try to get better, and that's what we're all about.
The Redskins will seek their 4th straight win this week when they take on the Eagles Sunday. And we've got a big night tonight coming up at 10:45 on the Fox 43 Sports Wrap. 15 minutes of local and national sports because we've got some Major League Baseball playoffs. The Washington Nationals and the LA Dodgers playing as we speak. Also, we'll have highlights from yesterday's NASCAR races. They're in the chase for the Cup. All the NASCAR news on Monday Thunder. And a look back at Old Dominion's Friday night win. All those coming up at 10:45 on the Sports Wrap, and I'll see you guys back here at 11.
Looking forward to it.
A lot of good news in sports. How about weather?
And good news in weather.
Yeah, certainly better news in weather. Tonight's going to be one of those nights where you can open the windows if you so desire. It'll drop to around 45 inland, closer to around 55, 57 near the shoreline. But it'll be cool overnight, 68 tomorrow. It'll be low to mid-70s for most of the next 7 days.
All right, look at that shot of that beautiful sunset.
Hope it continues on. We'll see you tonight.